When people hear data breach, they imagine a hoodie-wearing hacker exploiting some obscure zero-day at 3 in the morning. But in reality, most breaches happen because just someone ticked the wrong box. And in this series, a new one, I want to talk about the security for data platforms. Databricks, Fabric, Snowflake, BigQuery or any other. So I will going to use many different platforms for demos. And it's not going to be a checklist of what to do, but some sort of a mindset switch that I want you to learn in terms of how to implement the best security that you can. And that starts with 3 letters: CIA. Strip security down to its fundamentals and almost everything maps to 3 concepts: confidentiality, integrity and availability. First, confidentiality. Confidentiality is about who can see the data. Can the wrong person read it? Can the wrong system access it? Can the intern download the customer table into Excel spreadsheet and then just save it on the USB stick? Well, it maps to data platforms in terms of user permissions, role-based access control, workspace permissions, network access, and so on. And we will cover all of those specific implementation suggestions in later videos in this series. Next goes integrity. Integrity is about whether the data can be trusted. Has it been modified, corrupted, or did someone override the production data from Dev Notebook, for example? Well, that maps once again to data platform in terms of write permissions, table ownerships, schema enforcements, and so on. Last letter in the triad is A for availability. Availability is about whether the data is usable when needed. It's not only about the outages, but also the runaway cost. So if your storage is too expensive and you cannot afford it anymore, then your data is not available. And if the cluster is deleted or the quota is exhausted or someone accidentally called drop table, well, then your data is gone. And it can map to the data platform in terms of backups, cost controls and disaster recovery and other guardrails that can be implemented. Let's ground the whole security talk in reality. In the past few months, for example, we've seen a massive data leaks affecting millions of people. Let's take Coupang from South Korea as an example. Over 33 million users were affected with a follow-up leaks of 165,000 more, and it was names, phone numbers, addresses, all exposed. And the breach even triggered the government investigation and stained the international relationships a little bit. So you can imagine that simple data breach can lead to very, very serious consequences. But luckily for us, pretty much every cloud provider talks about something called the shared responsibility model. Here is a basic idea of it, that provider secures the physical data centers, their managed services infrastructure and default platform protections are all in place. While as customer, so you, are responsible for securing of access and identities, the configuration of the systems, the data usage itself and permissions. So pretty much cloud provider gives you the door frame and it's your responsibility to build a strong enough door itself so no one can open it, well, without your permission. Databricks, Fabric, Snowflake, all of those platforms, they do provide encryption and IAM primitives, audit logs and network isolation, but they don't decide who get access to what and what is public, what is private, what is acceptable, and yeah, that's on you to configure it in a right way. It can be as easy as just a single click of a mouse button, or it can be some sort of a script to run. It is your responsibility to make it secure enough. And here is the uncomfortable truth. The biggest security risk, it's not those zero-day vulnerabilities that you can hear every now and then about. It's mostly about the misconfiguration. If you leave some defaults unchanged, or leave some temporary permissions promoted to production, or just stick to convenience being more important than security, those are all silent risks that can destroy confidentiality, integrity, and availability of your data. they are easy to create and quite hard to notice, and often they are completely silent until it is too late, or you don't even know that it is too late already. So let me show you how easy this is to misconfigure something in practice. I'll use Databricks for this example, but it applies to almost any other data platform. And I'm not hacking anything, I'm just going to configure something in a slightly too convenient way, so slightly wrong. In this demo you will see a single permission change that looks harmless but completely breaks the whole system. Here is my example. I have a Databricks, the free tier cluster, and into this free tier workspace I already invited one additional user. So I have my fabric guide and my current user is pizza selector. The idea is that I'm trying to mimic is that I, as a pizza selector, I want to offload some of my tasks to a contractor who is a fabric guide, and let that person manage my pizza recipes, for example. And I'm going to do that using some sort of a, I think, reasonable way. So I'm going to create a new catalog just for this one and call it pizza store with a default location, default storage, so everything is by default. Then to configure this catalog we are going to assign a privilege for fabric guide user, and we are going to use a preset that they are going to be a data reader, so they are going to use this catalog, and I'm going to create it that with just blindly clicking the mouse pretty much. After that I'm going to create a schema pizza data for them, and in that pizza data schema I am going to create a single table using some pizza CSV files that I prepared in advance, and in that pizza CSV file it is a semicolon delimited one, but anyways we can create a table with some data. Now the table is created. Here is another window, the private window of Firefox, where I logged in as fabric guide already, and I can run a query to verify that my pizza data that I'm supposed to work on is available. And yeah, that's true. I can see that there is a margarita recipe where I need to spread some tomato sauce on a crust. Well, must be tasty. And as a fabric guide, this person knows what he is doing and what it is all about. Now let's get back to the main window where I have the pizza selector, and let's imagine that the business is going really well and I want to expand and have some additional people onboarded, maybe some other contractors or just extra administrators who can run the pizza store that I own. And in order to do that, I actually want to create another database and call it private. It would be a private database that is supposed to be used only by me, and there I am going to, for example, create a table. Once again, I have prepared the CSV file with some data, so I have usernames, passwords and recovery codes, and here you can see that there would be a username of something with user ID of 9012 and some password, plus some personal information that Rachel Booker would be a sales person from Manchester or something like that. So basically what it means is that first of all I have the PI information in the table and quite sensitive username and password, so someone would be able to log in with those credentials into my system and do some big changes. So I create this table and think that everything is peachy perfect. I can manage my users and my employees in the private database, whereas all of the pizza data, so recipes, can be handled by my contractor, the Fabric Guide, and they are going to work only on pizza data. Well, here is a problem, because now the Fabric Guide, without any changes, they can actually run the query against the private database, private schema, and see all of the same data. Why that happens? Well, because we assign privileges in the first place on a catalog level, not on a database level, and that expanded to all future created databases or schemas in that same catalog, which is default behavior, and it basically violates the principle of least privilege, the way how we configured it. And everything seems to be fine, everything seems to be easy, well, and it led to some unpredicted results. And imagine that this Fabric Guide user is not really good, and they are going to sell this private information to some hackers in a big hoodies. Well, now you have a problem. Hope that indicated the idea what we are going to talk about, and how to first of all spot those misconfigurations and how to fix them. And let's stay tuned. See you.